The best advice I've followed is to not follow the herd. In this video episode, I'm going to reveal secret number 5 in this series of Doug Andrews secrets. These are things that I normally do not talk about, but I've decided to create a series revealing some secrets that generally I don't reveal or talk about. They're not really secrets to me, and I'm not afraid to share them with you, but these are things that a lot of people are not aware of that you may get some insights listening to. So if you don't know, I'm Doug Andrews, and I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for nearly 5 decades. Doing what? Helping people optimize assets, minimize taxes, empower what I call their authentic wealth, to be able to achieve long-term goals and enjoy life without having to worry about their money or outliving their money, by eliminating dangers of taxes, inflation, and market volatility and what have you. I've been very, very blessed in my career to have authored thus far 12 best-selling books. I've had a national radio show now going for 14 years. I have this YouTube channel with about 1,000 educational videos. Why? Because I love to empower people like you, and I'll never stop doing this. I'm 70 years old. I will do this the rest of my life. I will never retire. Retire means put out of use, okay? I don't want to be put out of use. And so I hope someday, while I'm teaching concepts in front of a camera on stage, is when I finally take my last breath, because this gives me a purpose. And one of the secrets to longevity is making yourself necessary one way or another. So let me share with you this secret number 5 that may surprise you. When I say don't follow the herd, Dan Sullivan is the first coach, friend, mentor that actually used that terminology. And I have followed it ever since. He said, don't follow the herd and don't listen to the mainstream media, because they're part of the herd. And so I realized up until that point that the secret to my success in my books and my strategies and my seminars and why clients came to me is because what I said was not the same old advice following the herd. What was some of that same old advice that most financial advisors were trained getting their certified financial planning certificate or what they learned in college? What was it? What you do is you do this financial needs analysis, and you do this asset allocation, and you put this percent in stocks and this percent in bonds and mutual funds, and then when the client when the market goes down and the client freaks out, just tell the client, hang in there, the market always comes back. Is that what the public does? No, they panic. When the market goes down 20, 25, 30%, they panic and they sell low, and then they wait, and then buy high. They get involved with emotions. But see, Wall Street was never designed to create predictable cash flow with volatile markets during retirement. And so I began to realize, you know what? This advice of defer in traditional IRAs and 401ks, where 91% of Americans put their money in traditional accounts, where they get to fund it with pre-tax dollars like a 401k or tax-deductible contributions like an IRA, you're getting a tax break on the seed money. I use the metaphor, if you were a farmer and you had the choice of buying your seed in the springtime, and you don't have to pay tax on the price of the seed, but you plant the seed, you cultivate, you irrigate, you work hard in the fall, you harvest your crops, and now you have to pay tax on what you sell your harvest for. That's a traditional IRA or 401k, and people get duped into doing that because they're told, oh, you'll likely be in a lower bracket when you retire. Do you know that has not been true or axiomatic for savers for over 30 years? But people still follow the herd and do that. Only 9% go, wait a minute. No, if I save a lot of money, I'm not going to be in a lower tax bracket. And I've been killing my deductions by paying off my house. The kids are gone, or if they move back in, you can't deduct them anymore. If you're a business owner, you don't have those deductions anymore. You're not contributing money to IRAs or 401ks in retirement. And Congress keeps raising taxes because of irresponsible government spending and the printing of money. Most Americans, if I say, hey, do you think taxes in the future will likely be lower? I get nothing but crickets. How many think they're going to be the same? I get one or two hands go up. But in an audience of 2,000 people, how many think that taxes in the future will likely be higher? And a sea of hands goes up. And then I go, why are you deferring and postponing and procrastinating paying tax on those IRAs and 401ks to some future perceived unknown advantage? And then pull out your money later when you're convinced taxes will be higher? That doesn't make sense. And they don't realize they've been following the herd, and they just weren't even thinking about it until it's too late. And this is where I have met so many successful people that have 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. They're professional doctors and so forth. And they go, you know what? I was just following the herd. I just doing what they tell you to do. And now I am paying as much or more in tax as I ever was. This was the stupidest advice ever. Well, I'm not talking about a Roth. A Roth is a step in the right direction, but you pay tax on the seed money. You enjoy the harvest without tax, okay? But see, my favorite vehicle, I've never owned an IRA or 401k, never will. I've never owned a Roth IRA or 401k, never will. My favorite vehicle has the two benefits of a Roth. My money accumulates tax-free and I can access it tax-free. And 4 additional benefits Roths will never have. And you can learn those on this channel. My favorite vehicle is a laser fund, okay? And so it accumulates your money tax-free. You can access it tax-free. When you die, whatever you leave behind blossoms and transfers tax-free. I can put in 100, 200, 300,000 into a laser fund. You can't do that with a Roth. I can put in 300,000 and 4 days later pull out 200,000. You can't do that with a Roth. If you make too much money, you can't even own a Roth. This is why many savvy CPAs and tax attorneys call the laser fund a rich person's Roth, okay? You don't have to be rich to have one. So right off the bat, the financial planning industry as a herd tells their advisors, just tell your clients to put money in tax-deferred IRAs or 401ks because that's what the employees think is the way to go. And frankly, the original champions of the 401k lament the day they ever came up with the idea, okay? Because people lose so much money in the volatile markets and you cannot create predictable income when the market's doing this. Wall Street was not designed to create predictable income. And so that's why the financial services industry says to their advisors, now don't ever let a client in retirement pull out any more than 4% a year. $1 million nest egg is only going to generate $40,000 a year. The laser fund will generate $80,000 to $100,000 a year, tax-free. You pull out $40,000 out of an IRA or 401k, you're going to have to pay tax. Even in a 25% bracket, $10,000, you're only netting 3% or $30,000. They charge you 1% asset management fee. You're only netting 2%. That's pathetic. That's what you get when you follow the herd. So the secret, number 5, to my success is I've always followed the advice, don't follow the herd. I've been sort of deemed contrarian. When people say, oh, no, the way that you pay off your mortgage, get out of debt, is any extra money you've got, you send to the mortgage company. Here, Mr. Banker, here's an extra $100 this month, an extra $500. Pay this against my principal and my mortgage. If I need it back, I'll borrow it back on your terms and prove there's a need why I should have it. Well, people who have done that and then 2008's hit and the market go down, they lose their job, they can't get it back out because you can't borrow. They don't loan you money based on how much equity you have because you've been paying down your mortgage. They loan you money based on your ability to repay. If you can't pay it back, they're not going to give you that money. You lose it. I actually prove in my books, if you will simply take that differential between, let's say, a 15-year mortgage payment, which let's say is this, and a 30-year mortgage payment, which is less, take that difference plus the tax savings you will achieve during the first 15 years of a 30-year mortgage, and you discipline yourself and you put that into a laser fund compounding tax-free at my average that I've earned of 9 to 10%, and your mortgage might be 4.5% tax deductible, a net cost of 3%, I'm making 3 times. I'm making 9% compound interest on the money that I didn't send against my mortgage. I'm making 300% more than the cost of the mortgage. If you do the math, you'll have enough money in 2.5 to 3 years sooner to pay off your mortgage if you want to take the money out of the laser fund than giving it to the mortgage company. But see, that's contrarian. People say, what? What? I said, no, if you want to get out of debt, I'll show you, you'll get out of debt 3 years faster or sooner than giving the money to the mortgage company. But see, that's deemed contrarian. But the math doesn't lie. But a lot of advisors say, well, yeah, but most people won't do that. So unless the mortgage company takes it from you, I go, oh, that is stupid. You've got to be disciplined. Okay. And so it's these contrarian approaches that has actually contributed to my success. I've researched the absolute best way to save for retirement because I have a ditty that goes good, better, best. Never let it rest. Never let it rest till good gets better and better gets best. IRAs and 401ks may have been a good way to go. I think they're a poor way now. Roths might be a better way, but I want the best way. So what I did as a financial advisor is I showed people the best way to accumulate, access, and transfer your money totally income tax free and not have all these strings attached of you can only put in a certain dollar amount, a certain percent of your income and all this kind of stuff. I don't want all those strings attached. You can't touch it till you're 59 and a half, or I don't want all those. I'm contrarian. But see, everybody goes, well, Doug, you're not following the traditional advice. Yeah, I don't want to. That's why any designations that I might have, I have never put them behind my name because I don't want to stereotype myself that I follow the herd. I don't want people to see this CFP behind my name because if they do, they're going to go, oh, Doug's just going to tell me to put money in 401ks and IRAs and defer, hoping I'm going to be in a lower tax bracket. And then when the market goes down, just say, hang in there. It'll bounce back. Well, in the meantime, if you need to live in retirement, what are you going to do? See, Wall Street was never designed to create predictable income. A laser fund, $1 million can generate $80,000 to $100,000 a year of cash flow, whether the market's up or down. Wall Street doesn't do that. Does that make sense? So that's why people view me and they fling arrows at me. You can always tell the pioneers because they're the ones with the arrows in their back. If I am not getting critiqued out there by people, then I know I'm not rocking the boat enough. But see, I'm anti-401ks. It may be an okay way to go, but it's a far cry from the best way to go, and I can prove it mathematically, especially if you think taxes will likely be higher in the future. I've studied the best way to save, and it's totally tax-free. I've learned how to participate when the market goes up, but not lose a dime when the market goes down by using indexing. Most advisors think I'm talking about index mutual funds. Nope, because they're following the herd, and they don't know what they don't know. And so you can't be aware of something you're not aware of. And most of the critics, most of those who have said, Doug Andrews crazy, why would you ever do that? When they finally study and learn what I'm talking about, they go, he's talking about indexing. Indexing is a strategy. An index mutual fund is a commodity. If you had $1 million in the year 2000 in an index mutual fund with the S&P 500, 2001 to 2003, it would have dropped down to 600,000. 2008, it would have dropped down to 600,000. You would have lost 40% in an index mutual fund. With indexing, our clients didn't lose a dime. In 2001 to 2003, they were cheering. They didn't lose a dime. They didn't make much of anything, but they didn't lose. And after 2007, many of them had doubled their money when most Americans were barely back to break even. And then they lost 40% again in 2008. Our clients were cheering, go, because they weren't losing. The first 90 days of 2009, many of our clients locked in gains of 16% tax-free after not losing a penny. At the end of 2012, when most Americans were barely back to break even to the money they had 12 years earlier in the market, in index funds, our clients using indexing had 2.5 to 3 times their money. $1 million was worth 2.5 to 3 million using indexing. When people finally take the time to learn that, they go, oh, and they become some of our greatest advocates. They want to join our organization. It's amazing. And they will admit sheepishly, I was one of your biggest enemies, one of your biggest critics. I didn't know what I didn't know, and I am ashamed. And, I appreciate those people who admit that. So that's my advice. That's a secret. Number 5, don't follow the herd and don't listen to the mainstream media because they are part of the herd. If you want to learn about the best way, I'd recommend you read this book. This is my 11th book. It's been flying off of our warehouse shelves. You can claim a free copy by simply going to laserfund.com, laserfund.com, or click on the link below. When you're in there, you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that cost, and I will pay for the book. I will send out priority mail, a hard copy to you. There's options in there to listen and learn, watch and learn. Check out some of the regular educational webinars that we do that are free. You can even fill in an appointment to talk to one of the top IUL specialists in America that I oversee that can help you understand how to implement these strategies for you the right way. Because I would say over 99% of financial advisors are following the herd and they don't even know how to structure these correctly. That's sad. I don't want you to waste time and money having it done wrong. So this is about you and your brighter future.